Hey guys, thanks for checking out the Super Chef Garage. Some exciting news. Just recently hit just over 100 subscribers. It's a small drop in the bucket, but good way to start, I guess. I've been on YouTube for just under a year right now, making videos mostly with my Supra and a few other cars in the garage. So today what we're talking about is the electric fan hookup for my 2J's setup. So a while ago I had my radiator start leaking, and I bought one that came with an electric fan, so I had to hook it up. Proper way to hook it up would be to use a temperature sensor in your coolant piping somewhere. Probably have an aluminum welder weld in a bung for you to screw in your temperature sensor. Have it hooked up to a relay that turns a switch on, that turns your fan on. Unfortunately, I don't have that hooked up yet. That's something I'll be doing in the future, but it looks like head gaskets are in my nearest future. So anyway, I'll give you a little rundown of my setup here, and it's not on a switch. It's not on a thermo switch. It's on the ignition switch. So let's quickly turn you around here. It's gonna look kind of like a messy spaghetti in a sense, but so this here line is fused from the battery, goes through my firewall there. I drilled holes in there when I got the car back in 2005 when I didn't know much that there were secret passages underneath your dashboard that you could have run wires without having to drill and almost drill into the back of your brake booster. So anyway, let's start this over again. From the positive terminal of the battery, I've got a wire running back through my firewall to that relay right there. Then from the fuse panel in my car, there's an open spot where when you turn the key on, the power comes on there using my test light. You can see that in another video of how to use a test light properly for something like that. So when you turn the switch on, it activates the switch on my relay, and then there's a black wire that grounds the relay to the chassis. So from the one wire comes in from the battery, and a power wire from the relay comes back out through the firewall in a spaghetti style fashion. I think I have mine running this way for some strange unknown reason, making making an S past my battery, and you can see it up there inside the hood, or inside the radiator cradle, and it goes over to the passenger side where it comes out with this wire loom, and then goes down to this connector that I have here going to the fan. So then there's also a ground wire. So there's two wires on this connector. It's actually an old connector from a Subaru radiator. One wire goes for ground, which I have grounded on a clean spot there. You can see the black wire right there. And then the other one, the red wire, goes in, is spliced in with a butt connector to the fan. So when you turn on the ignition, the fan kicks on and your electric fans work. So mine is on the ignition switch, not on a temperature switch. If I were to do it with a temperature switch, I would probably take this piece of coolant piping off and get a bung welded in, quite like where that coupler is there, where that temperature sensor is in the coolant neck. So anyway, that's how that's all set up. I'll draw you quick schematics to show you how you should potentially properly set it up. But I'll just show you that I've been running this setup for a while, and it's pretty comfortable. I don't feel it's going to overheat or anything, or shut off on me. So as you can see or hear, the fan is working. It's not that loud, but it works pretty well. I'm trying not to hurt myself here. So essentially here on my dry erase board, I'll draw you a setup. Alright, so here's your battery under your hood. Plus, minus. This will symbolize your fuse block, but you can choose to draw your switch wire from anywhere if you're going to run this style of setup. Then you have your relay, out of proportion for size, has 4 pins on it. One is a ground to the chassis. One is a power wire from your battery. One will be a switched on power. And then the other one will be the wire that runs through my radiator to the fan. That symbolizes the fan, sort of. Here, we'll do that. My artistic skills are at their finest. So, then you have your negative wire grounded to the chassis. So, pretty well straightforward. Plus the relay, grounded relay, switched on power, and then when the switch finishes the circuit, the power goes to the fan and turns it on. The relay that I'm using is 40 amp. Now, if you were to do it the other way, so here's your battery. This is your switch, or temperature switch. I was never meant to be a teacher. Temp switch. So here's your battery. Oh, one thing also, you have to have a fuse. So you got your fuse here. I keep it close to the battery, so if anything happens, just shuts off here, kills the power to the whole system. So anyway, here's your whole setup here with your temp switch. You got your battery, your fuse, power to your relay. You'll say this will be your temperature sensor wire that goes to your relay, tells the relay to turn on. Then you'll have your power wire going back to your fan. It's very confusing in a sense, but basically the only change between the two is that instead of having your switch wire coming from your fuse panel, you have your switch wire coming from a temperature sensor. Disregard the fact that I drew it through the fuse panel. I don't know why I did that, but basically the setups are the same. Switch, temperature switch, fuse panel switch. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave me a message in the comments. I respond to all of them. I'll do my best to explain it. If not, I can do a follow-up video with more confusing stuff. But the simplest way I could explain it is like this, and the only change would be you'd be getting your temperature switch from here instead of there if you were going to go with temperature switched power. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hit the like and subscribe button, and thanks to all my subscribers so far. Hopefully I can keep making videos for a long time to come, and keeping you guys all informed or just helping out. So like I said, thanks again for watching, and tune in for future videos.